We begin the program Politics Today on independent television and radio by taking a look at some of the stories that are on the front burner, trending in the political scene. And then we'll be back to meet our panelists for today and go into the nitty-gritty. But let's begin with some of the stories we have for you. And by the way, I'm Sonny Duke Okosi, your host on the program. Once again, Happy New Year. Rivers Assembly confirms impeachment notices served to Governor Fubara, deputy. The impeachment process, which cited gross misconduct, was initiated during plenary on Thursday, presided over by Speaker Martin Samahole. The Rivers State House of Assembly confirmed that the impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy Ngozi Odu are ongoing, with official notices of allegations formally forwarded to both officials. In a statement dated January 9, 2026 and signed by the chairman of the House Committee on Information, Petitions and Complaints, Enemi George, the Assembly emphasized that the process was fully on course, in line with relevant provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The two notices of allegations of gross misconduct brought pursuant to Section 188 of the Constitution against the governor and his deputy have been forwarded to them by the Speaker of the House while awaiting their responses. We remain duty-bound to stand by the people and stop infractions on the Constitution by the governor, deputy governor, or any other officer of the Rivers State government, the statement read in part. And now moving on, Labour Party has affirmed Oti as national leader and wishes Peter Obi well. The opposition party said its NWC also recognized former Finance Minister Nenadi Usman as the party's national chairman. The Labour Party has affirmed Abia State Governor Alex Oti as its national leader and is wishing the party's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, well, following his decision to join the Coalition African Democratic Congress, ADC. The party's national secretary, Darlington Wokocha, disclosed this in a communique, saying the decision followed a meeting by LP's National Working Committee on Wednesday to deliberate on key issues affecting the stability, growth, and strategic direction of the party. The NWC, in a unanimous decision, affirmed its recognition of His Excellency Governor Alex Chioma Oti as the national leader of the Labour Party, the communique read in part. The national leadership of the Labour Party wishes His Excellency Mr. Peter Obi well in his future political endeavors and in his new political party. And now, moving on, Obi will be welcomed back to LP if denied ADC presidential ticket. This is coming from Dati. You recall that Dati and Obi contested on a joint ticket for the presidency in 2023 election. And the former vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Dati Baba Ahmed, says Peter Obi will be welcomed back to the party if he does not get the African Democratic Congress presidential ticket. Dati said this on Friday during an interview, the Morning Brief, and explained that it is better for Obi to come back to the platform in which they contested the 2023 presidential election, and also said if Peter Obi does not get the ticket there in ADC, he is more than welcome back to the Labour Party. The Kaduna-born running mate of Obi said, "I will stand there and nobody will do anything bad to Obi. It is better for him to come back than for him to do any other type of agenda." Dati Baba Ahmed, meanwhile, has said that he never declared to contest for presidency. He blamed those who employ sensationalism on social media for putting wrong narratives out there to emotional listeners. The vice presidential candidate of the Labour Party, LP, Dati Baba Ahmed, says he did not declare interest in contesting for the presidency in 2027. That he said this on Friday morning. Those are some of the stories we're following on the program this lovely Saturday morning on Politics Today on independent television and radio. Of course, on the ongoing strike by resident doctors, Justice Subelim issued the order on Friday while ruling on a motion ex parte filed by the federal government of Nigeria and the Attorney General, Justice Emmanuel Subelim of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, Abuja, issued an order restraining the National Association of Resident Doctors and its members from embarking on the strike scheduled to commence on January 12. Justice Subelim made the order on Friday while ruling on a motion ex parte filed by the federal government. Okay, welcome back to the show, and thank you so much for staying with us. Our guest in the studio, let me welcome another statesman, grassroots politician, and of course, public affairs commentator, Gentleman Amego Esquire. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you for having me, Duke, and I want to wish everybody Happy New Year.
We also have with us here in the studio a professor of business administration in the University of Benin. Used to be at Novena University, but he's back to base. He's back home. The erudite Professor Anthony Ejewere. Prof, thanks again for joining us and congratulations and welcome back to Benin.
It's a pleasure to be here, and I thank the great VC of Univet, Professor Toba Omoriti, for his doing.
Okay, now let's go into the package for today. Yeah, Rivers State crisis is at the front burner. No one knows when it's going to end, and it looks like it's not going to end anytime soon, particularly with the fact that the 2027 general election is, gathering momentum. It's Wike versus Fubara, again, with the State House of Assembly controlled fully by the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, commencing proceedings of impeachment against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy. They say the sins of the governor are enormous and they contravene the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 Constitution as amended. And so on Thursday, they commenced impeachment proceedings against the governor. When will all of this end? What is the undercurrent that is driving this? Last time, we saw this crisis blown out of proportion, and Mr. President stepped in and declared a state of emergency in Rivers State. And of course, Ibas was brought in to weather the storm. Ibas has since left. Fubara has come back. We thought there were some agreements reached, and those agreements are supposed to be respected. But it looks like things again have fallen apart in Rivers State, and the center once again cannot hold. Of course, if the center can't hold, things will fall apart. Oh, yeah. That's a famous book written by Professor Chinua Achebe. Gentlemen, welcome again to the show. We are back to this road again with Rivers State. What, in your opinion, is the undercurrent that is driving this endless crisis that we're seeing in Rivers? Let me begin with you, Barrister Amego.
Well, Duke, it is very complex. The situation in Port Harcourt is complex, but somehow we'll get there soon and know where we are. It's very nebulous right now. People think outside Port Harcourt that Wike is a god of Rivers State, but we don't know. You and I are not in Port Harcourt. We don't know the feelings of the people in Rivers State. But on the surface, I think Wike has become a problem to this country. It's neither in APC nor in PDP. And he's there enjoying APC. I don't know why everybody is keeping quiet at Wike, but I think we are getting to the end of it. Whatever is bad on earth, it must have an end. And so that's where we are going right now. What is the problem against Fabura? Fabura left 300 billion. Fubara. Yeah. He left 300 billion in his account when he was ousted when he was asked to go for 6 months. The other man came and added another 300 billion. Making sense, and then you are asking him for a supplementary budget. What for? Look at all the money we are asking for a supplementary budget. Why ain't going to do that right now? And that's the problem. Because Wike knows the source of money in Rivers State and he wants to be a part of it. For goodness sake, I don't know what that guy wants to use money for. He has so much money, so much property all over the world. What does he want? That is malady of the mind. You don't. What are you looking for this money to do for what? To do what? To eat a bushmeat, a chicken, or what? Or cow, or what? So the problem is envy. Wike is very envious of this young man. Oh, I brought him on board. Therefore, it should be heart and soul for him. Before he takes any decision, he should come and borrow his own brain to be able to take decision. That can continue. Today we even find children disobeying their parents, even though they brought them to the world. Daddy, please let me reason my way. This is where I want to go. It's not the way you want it to go. That is independence of the mind. Sometimes many of us, we cave in as parents. Okay, my son can go. Okay, my daughter, do I want to go ahead? So this quarrel is coming out of envy because Wike wants to own this, that. Give me 25. Can you imagine Wike saying publicly, if I say give me 25 billion a month, what is wrong with that? How dare you talk like that? What is wrong with that? 25 billion every month? You say what is wrong with that? Because you didn't spend money for your campaign, you didn't spend money for your election. Because yes, of course, no man's an island. We are in this world, we must be responsible to one another. We must be ready to accept who you are, you accept who I am. You cannot carve a place for yourself, a nest for yourself, and then you think every other person is unimportant. It is not so. We are all equal before God. That's why we go to school. Education is enlightenment. Fubara is not very enlightened. I say, brother, what you are saying is wrong. I cannot do that. That is the whole problem.
All right, thank you.
However, sir, for what we are hearing, Fubara will have, because APC is not ready to allow that kind of...
Okay, now I'll come back to that. Yeah. I'll come back to that, Pastor Mego. Let me get your foundational commentaries on where we are. Before Fubara was asked to come back, we heard and we saw, as a matter of fact, the involvement of the presidency. Meetings were held, and some agreements were reached. We thought that by now, those agreements will be the template for reconciliation and moving the state forward. So what do you make of the semi-complaints on the part of the Wike faction that these agreements were never respected by Governor Siminalayi Fubara? For example, in the Christmas and New Year, we heard that the governor credited the accounts of the assembly members with 100,000 naira each, which was immediately rejected and returned. I mean, what you make of that? We hear the man is an accountant, and accountants, they always have a way of, holding on to money.
Can't release anything.
Yes, if you go to the foundation of this matter or crisis, if you like, is the fact that using Wike wants to maintain the model of Tinubu as the politician of Lagos, the father of Lagos politics. So he wants to model his own action towards it. In other words, if you want to do politics in Rivers, if Wike is not there, or he didn't contact Wike, or he didn't consult enough, or he didn't guide you, or tell you what to do, or being a God father, then nothing will work. He sees Rivers as his own personal property. And he even says it. He said, look, even one APC national secretary, even the chairman, he said, look, be very careful. He said, don't need anything to do with Rivers State. Don't just go there.
Stay clear.
Stay clear. Don't just go there. I'm very surprised because it's like you cross over from PDP, if you're still a member anyway. And you were not detecting to an established party, the central party, the #1 party in the country right now, that this is what I want you to do. Is a political suicide. A political suicide in the sense that, these people have their rules and regulations, that guides the party. And besides, in fact, they made it clear, any governor, according to the constitution, is the leader of a party in that particular state. And so, I think it's not noise making that makes somebody to make a point. I think Governor Fubara was fast enough and crossed over to APC, and therefore a leader, to Wike is said, and that is why I said I'm holding the #1 001 card as the #1 man of APC.
Yeah, but Wike replied by saying that crossing over to the APC is not a guarantee for second term.
What do you expect? Is he the owner of the party? Is he the one that is going to conduct the primaries of APC, for God's sake? He's not the one now. He's not the one. You see, I think the man has come to a state of confusion. He doesn't know what to do next and all that. Because whether he likes it or not, Fubara is the #1
Yeah, but there's no party called Rainbow Coalition in Nigeria at the moment.
Yeah. But that is the picture he was painting. Okay. And the reason is obvious, because he now discovered that even the APC governors, the top APC people, they are with Fubara.
Okay.
I still remember Umani, the Minister of Works, what's the other man?
Ribadu.
Ribadu.
Yeah, the Minister of the National Security Advisor.
Yes, they all came to visit him, and they sent a message from the president and said, "We love what you are doing, my son. Please continue your good work."
All right.
And by that action, Wike became more irritated.
Okay.
It's like this man is being recognized over him that calls himself the father of Rivers State politics.
If you just join us, as Politics Today on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to reigning Nyesom Wike, the FCT State Minister, so there can be some semblance of peace in Rivers State going into 2027. We'll be talking along those lines when we return after this break on the program Politics Today. Stay tuned.
Richard didn't want to die, but he couldn't stop himself. The collision with the car didn't kill him, but he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, so he continued on his journey. When he hit the inside of the car, that didn't kill him either.
Welcome back to the second half of the program Politics Today, reaching you live on independent television and radio. In just about 15 minutes or thereabout, our studio lines will be open so you can call and also be part of the conversation. Please be civil in your language. Do not cast aspersion on anyone. Let's have a very meaningful, robust conversation as we x-ray the issues affecting Rivers politics and the way forward. Once again, I want to thank our panelists, Barrister Mego and Professor Ijewere. Once again, thank you for coming on the program. Barrister Mego, look at it this way. Is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in a dilemma in dealing with the Rivers State issue, particularly in Nyesom Wike, against the background that the man has so much to spill as to how he was able to manipulate, midwife, organize, synergize the last election that gave the president overwhelming victory in Rivers State. He said I mean, I want to quote him that when the time comes, he's going to let out of the bags how the president won the Rivers State election in favor of the incumbent government.
Yeah. That statement alone is a threat to Mr. President. You see, whether you like it or not, today in Nigeria, Ahmed Tinubu is the constitution of this country. Whatever he says is a law. If you want to go to court against what he says, you're wasting your time. You see, Tinubu has sent a message to Fubara, my dear son. That says it all. He cannot renege on that statement. It's not being feministic, it's just being gentle. Let us approach this as politicians, because he himself is talking from outside because he doesn't know what the pulse of Rivers State is. So that's why he's very gentle. But by the time he will hit, he will come and hit, what do you call him now? Wike will not have a place to stand in this country. He will go elsewhere and relocate for a long time, will not come back. You see, he's just being careful because he brought a lot of. But Fubara will do the same thing. Today we are so happy in APC. We have 28 against 7 or 8. So what Prof called coalition, if it does exist, we are not worried about all that. If you have 28 against 8, then you know where we are going. So Tinubu is a law. It's not the constitution. He has sent a high power delegation to Fubara. My son, we are proud of what you are doing. That speaks volume. That speaks his mind. He cannot go back and say, I didn't send the Ribadu, I didn't send the other man. So Wike ought to be reasonable now and see free the pulse of Mr. President. Say, let's leave this guy alone. How can you say there is no second tenure? Who are you? You cannot say there's no second tenure for anybody. That's where we are. It's envious of the young man because they brought him up. For goodness sake, you journalists, tell him. You say, when you are doing something wrong, a time comes, you say, no, this thing must stop. Whatever is wrong must stop at a point. You see, that's what is wrong with this country now. Agitation, agitation, agitation. And if you recall, agitation started in this country by our own people, Midwest State, as it then was, and then to Bende. That agitation has not stopped in this country since 1964. That's what we are still suffering today. You see, another problem Tinubu has, I'm in sympathy with him. He said, Milokon, it's my turn. And it's not an easy thing like you observe to rule over people of about 250 million. He doesn't sleep more than 2-3 hours a day. He has big problem. Letters on his table every day cannot be less than 10,000 letters. Telephone call cannot be less than 100,000 calls. So he's in trouble. What we do, because he lost second tenure so much. And I don't care, president. If you like vote, you like, don't vote for me. That's your business. All these things will not be happening. He likes his second tenure, and you must play it calmly. Otherwise, if Wike is out, we might lose Rivers State. If Fubara is out, we might lose Rivers. Rivers State is so dear to his heart because I'm told that he will bring 2.something million, 3 million. But surprisingly now, I know he's getting prepared for 2.5. So he will get to know that it's not only Rivers State that can give 2 billion. Okay.
All right, so we'll talk about that another day, Pastor Mengo. Well, let me bring you in, Prof. The grounds for this impeachment proceedings is also a major talking point. They seem to have dusted the files that were kept somewhere during the reconciliation moves by Mr. President, and then, of course, with the declaration of state of emergency. They are bringing issues of the unconstitutionality of spendings in the state without the House of Assembly's approval. They also reference how he desecrated the legislature by bringing it down on the pretext that he wants to do renovation. I mean, we can't also take away the fact that the sins of Fubara are humongous and they are constitutionally justifiable with these proceedings against it. Let me get your take on that.
It's an urban issue. The Rivers House of Assembly, they don't just like the face of Fubara. Why? Because they are being teleguided by Wike. That is just.
So are you saying that Fubara's hands are clean?
Yeah. Well,
if his hands are clean, are his legs clean too?
Dude, I'm still taking a flight. I will land.
Okay.
You know. So, in fact, there's even a rumor that while they were doing this impeachment exercise, Wike was in the house, guiding them what to do and all that and all that. You see, the point is, Fubara met a budget that's already in operation. Met a budget that's already by Abbas, the military administrator. Met a budget. So he's executing that budget. So how do you turn around and say the budget was not approved? But was the House of Assembly in session that time? They were not in session. So he was only running the budget according to Fubara. He met on ground. And Fubara said, when he addressed the people of Rivers State, he said he has made all effort to have a meeting with the members of the State House of Assembly. But each time he makes that effort, they will profit. They won't show up. They will say Wike has to approve first. And without Wike's approval, then up to the date that he has been waiting for Wike's approval, and that approval never came, and all that. So the whole thing became, irritating, especially when Wike now heard that Fubara is now being recognized at the national level by the presidency. That made him to be angry the more. And so, what is the leeway out? Is to go for this impeachment, this thing. It's the easiest thing. Remember, you recall that even before he was suspended for 6 months, still remember, Wike's idea was that he should go. The State House of Assembly should impeach him. But the President Tinubu used his wisdom and said, no, you can't do that. Let's cool off the system by bringing a military administrator for the system to cool off so that the young man can come back. And that was his plan. So Wike is not happy because of the recognition Fubara is getting at national level. Even the presidency, for the president to start calling him his son that is doing very well, he's like, oh, I am finished. What's the easiest way out? Please, institute an impeachment procedure, so that this man will go. But unfortunately, they've forgotten that he's running a budget he met on ground. So which budget is he going to present? The former administrator has formally presented that budget, and the budget has been approved. So it's like you want to hang a dog, you call him a bad name. That is exactly what is happening. So I think Wike should retrace his steps. Like many top APC people are now saying in Abuja, that when Tinubu comes back, it's either he accepts them or Wike should leave that office. That is what they are saying at the moment. So it's a serious matter.
We'll be back in just a moment. I have more conversation for you on the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Please stay.
This is Akwa Game, a popular game in Africa played by our ancestors to entertain themselves after each day of farming. It is also relevant in our coronation in Africa. It is a sport and indeed very interesting, as every seed had a role in the game. Playtime is 45 minutes per set. There is no age limit as long as you can spin Akwe seed. Ayo or Akwe game, known as the game of intellectual. This game requires a lot of mathematical skills. Akwe game is played with
Thanks again for rejoining us on the program Politics Today. Talking about the Rivers State crisis that is ongoing and seems to be tearing the state apart. As they say, when two elephants fight, the grass will always suffer. What is the future of the people of Rivers State? That explains why President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has now intervened in the escalating political crisis surrounding Governor Siminalayi Fubara, reportedly expressing concern over growing instability in Rivers State. His involvement follows rising tensions between Fubara and the Minister Nyesom Wike, culminating in a state of emergency declaration in March 2025. Tinubu's move against signals federal government oversight amid fears of governance collapse and potential constitutional challenges. The television underscores his role in maintaining national stability, particularly in regions experiencing leadership disputes. Further developments may include legal or administrative actions against Fubara. All of those actions were taken. He brought about the emergency rule in which Admiral Ibas took charge for 6 months, but Fubara is back. It's like in his coming back, the state is now embroiled in a larger, bigger, greater crisis that may snowball into dimensions never before seen. So, what are the expectations in terms of President Tinubu's actions to deal decisively with this issue? And then on the flip side, what does the future holds for Nyesom Wike, Minister of FCT, against the background of the fact that he's neither in APC nor in PDP? Maybe he may just have his hands in the ADC. We don't know. But all of these are issues that are at the front burner on the moment. So what are your key recommendations on the part of Mr. President in dealing with this issue, bringing it to a lasting conclusion to maintain peace and stability so that the people of Rivers State can breathe a sigh of relief? Let me begin with you, Pastor Mego.
Let the poor breathe. Well, I think from my own side that the President has said what he needs to say, and that is that this is my beloved son, in whom I'm well pleased. And he, as we speak now, they are probably having tea together in Paris. Fubara has gone to France to meet Tinubu. And you know what that means, to leave Nigeria to go and meet him in a quiet area of France. So I'm of the opinion that unless he retraces his step, I mean Wike, then he will meet his Waterloo. You see, this gangsterism should stop. Oh, if President doesn't do this, I will expose it. If I doesn't do that, I will expose it. Right. You are the only one who knows the secret of everybody. You expose this, you expose that minister, you expose the IG, you expose the commissioner. For goodness sake, you are not an octopus. You are just one man, like all of us. So I sympathize with him because he doesn't know. Let somebody those of you who are close to him, tell him to mellow down. If he mellows down, let's drop this matter. let's drop this matter. We don't. There are 3 words that keep the world going. One is I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. Once you're able to use any of those 3, then you are home and dry. So unless he does that, the president cannot change his word. He cannot say, this is my beloved son, whom I'm well pleased, and then come and unsay, this is an evil son. He cannot. He will be taken as a child. He can't appropriate and reprobate. So that statement alone to keep Wike in his cupboard. He has boxed Wike. But unfortunately, there's no reason. That's a very painful aspect. He's boxed him already with that statement. He can't get out of that box. He doesn't know. And I'm surprised my very little brother like that. He ought to know. It's not just fighting an empty space. Where you stay now, you are empty because Fubara is #1 APC man in Rivers State. What he says to is what the Abuja will accept. And if you must know, Abuja is not, you know what I'm talking about. Abuja is supporting #1 leader in Rivers State. So go and tell him, your friend, go and tell him that he has been boxed.
I'm not his SA media by Meko. Now, Prof, talk to us in terms of what you expect.
To add to what he has said, you know, when they say Governor Fubara breached the agreement, I don't understand what they mean. I made that statement because the ball game has changed. If Fubara was still in PDP, you can say he has breached the agreement. But they are in a new political horizon where Fubara is now the leader. So you don't expect the old rules to still apply. We now have new rules. You know, and the new rule is that he's now the leader of the party in the state, for God's sake. Yeah. That's the new rule. So you see, what is really making Wike bad is that, feel bad rather, is that the man is now recognized in Abuja as the #1 person in the state as far as APC is concerned.
That's right.
In fact, they are now saying, we don't know which political party belongs to. You have been expelled from PDP. So what are you up to? So Abuja is seeing him as somebody who's trying to bring in the virus he used in destroying PDP into APC. And they are saying, hey, we have rules and regulations here. You can't try that here. Otherwise, we're going to discipline you. So he's having serious political, he's in a serious political quagmire and confusion. He doesn't know what to do next. And that is why he's using the local approach. As far as as far as Rivers State is concerned, nobody goes there. Not even APC people, don't go there. But meanwhile, you are benefiting from the same APC government. And you are saying nobody should come to the river crisis. They should stay clear completely. And at the same time, Tinubu, you approach Tinubu concerning this matter, and Tinubu have settled it. Precisely. And he's now saying, oh, my son, you are doing very well. So I think what it boils down to is very, very simple, that Abuja recognizes Fubara as their own, especially when he has crossed to APC. Okay. And on the side of Wike, is confused. And from the signals we are getting, he may be dropped as soon as possible by the time the president comes back. Because election is by the corner, and the president doesn't want anything to, circumvert his image, his interest.
Would that not be tantamount to ingratitude against the background that when Wike, as a leader in PDP, worked for the APC to be victorious in the last general elections. Just a moment. Okay. He worked for the APC as a member of the PDP and helped them to win Rivers State in the election. And consequently, he continues to work with the APC and continue to decimate the strength of the PDP. And eventually, it's probably going to be dropped, like you are saying, and all of that. Is that not ingratitude on the part of the leadership of the APC, particularly Mr. President? And what with the fact that if you look at all the ministers appointed by Mr. President, one of the most outstanding is Nyesom Wike, against the background of the records that he has created in the FCT.
Yes. If you help a child, you help anybody, a child, or a child that's one of the child wants to mess you up. The major thing you are interested in, he wants to come and destroy it simply because I mean, for God's sake, it's not the I think the new political thinking right now is that Fubara is popular. That's the new political thinking by Mr. President. Fubara is popular. Is it not better to deal with somebody who he can chance to win election than the other one who will fight and fight almost everybody around him. And so it may be a negative. It may be negative before the president. I think Fubara is positive. And that is why Fubara is the
Our studio line will be open in just a moment for you. But let me get you in there, Pastor Mego. Yes, I'd like to get your comment there.
The president has overshown gratitude to
exactly.
Wike. What did he do? How many millions did this cost? Was it only Rivers State that voted Tinubu? Exactly. Many other states also voted Tinubu. Our state did, and many other states. Wike has harvested more than any other minister in this country. And so, of course, it shouldn't bring crisis to us. We are in peace. It should leave us in peace. And we are in. Let him go and form his own party or go back to his PDP. He's been expelled from PDP. A man like that standing can be expelled from. It's a shame. He should feel guilty for being that he has not performed well. So, sir, don't talk of gratitude because I think Mr. President has shown too much gratitude to Wike. Any more gratitude will offend members of the APC. We are fed up. He has destroyed the PDP. We want to go out to God forbid. You can't destroy our APC.
Okay. All right. If you just join us, it's still politics today on independent television and radio. We're giving you now the opportunity for you to share your perspectives, your views, and your opinions on the issue through our phone line 08077770300. 08077770300. That's the studio number. You can dial that number right now, right away. Let's get your views, let's get your perspectives, let's get your take on the political crisis that has bedeviled Rivers State for such a long time, post-2023 general election, and it looks like the end is not just in sight against the recent development in the state where the State House of Assembly, under the full control, under the command and control of Nyesom Wike, has already commenced impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy. If these impeachments were to succeed, what would that mean for democracy? And if it doesn't succeed, it means that the political end of Nyesom Wike has come. But are there lessons to learn from that?
Oh, yeah.
We keep having this crisis of ex-governor and the anointed son having challenges. And that brings me to the issue of godfatherism in politics. Some say it has its positive side, some say it has a negative side. But we'll see more of the positive side. And in most cases, the incumbent governor wins against the SY governor. So why is this difficult for Nigerians to learn from what has happened over the years, from Edo State to Anambra State to Rivers State and several other states? Let me go take the Barrister Mego.
Again, Wike is one of the perpetrators of this kind of political maneuvering in this country. He is one of them. You see, what we have been saying here, we want free, fair, transparent election in this country. By the time we begin to get all that, then we won't have problem. It's not this idea of saying, okay, you score 20, they say, no, you score 75. These things must stop. That's why I keep saying that whatever is not right must not be given a place of growth in our own selves, in our own country. So, I don't know, Prof, you want to say something? I don't know. We're just going on and on. But for me, it must stop.
All right, Prof, I'll come back to you. Let me take this break. When we return, our studio line will be open so you can call and contribute to the discussion from wherever you're watching across the world. Stay with us on Politics Today on independent television and radio.
ITV, certainly the best.
program, Politics Today. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Go ahead with your contribution. Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Sunny.
Good morning.
And our daddy, Sergeant Amigo, and the economist, Ma.
Okay.
Abolo.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Raf, the oracle from the GROA.
Okay.
I think we should encourage democracy and social justice to strive. Because we go to the Constitution section 14, section 1, says that the flag of Nigeria is based on the principles of social justice and democracy. Which the pillar of democracy, 1, the legislative, 2, the lawmakers, then the 3, we still have the judiciary and the executive. The executive,
just academic.
I'm making a mistake. The three pillars of democracy, 1, the executive, 2, judiciary, and the lawmaker. And section 90, down to section 129, give the power to the House of Assembly that if there's any misconduct, the House of Assembly need to go to section 188. After which, the matter will go to the judiciary. If really the allegation is substantial enough to remove the governor. That's why they are part of the president. So what about the president? Why is it that we are not doing it? We get the lawmaker, we get the judiciary, we get the executive.
Exactly.
What we get as done in this matter? A man who used a form lawmaker to pass a budget. They have not done for the Constitution. If they say they want to remove him, we have not passed for alarm of crime more than the belief. They should go ahead. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you for your contribution. Well, some of the sins of Governor Siminalayi Fubara, but I thought those things were forgiven, which led to the reconciliation during the emergency rule. But anyways, let's get your take. Our next caller is on the line. Good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Good morning.
JB Dennis on the line, calling from a community.
All right, JB Dennis, please go ahead.
Yes. Number 1, I want to disagree with the gentleman member who always say Wike. When Wike was supporting Tinubu in Rivers State when he was in TDP, I know that Justice Mahamudu was praising him. Now, you are saying that Wike, whether it's the only Wike that give presidency to go to Mr. President. In Botu, I heard that you lost there from Tinubu. They lost. So somebody who said that I stand for the party, he don't belong to APC, and he make alliance with the president, not even like the people that even talking about the national secretary of APC. He was the senator before. When he go there, want to re-elect again, he say Wepuri, and APC could not win Osun State. Those are the people that are telling Tinubu to remove everything from Abuja. After helping APC to win a River State, you want to betray you want to allow that man to fold the sand. When we are talking about confederalism, before today that is done, Obataki was 001 in a 2 state here, when we so many declaring for second tenure. If not the same Wike who helped me to come to PDP and give him the ticket, I pay Wike for that, because of that one, PDP has seen a department dollar in a 2 state who cannot even win the catalog. Okay. So the problem is that we should learn to respect agreement. Agreement is an agreement.
Okay.
If Kubana betrayed the agreement that they made, but Tinubu did not break that agreement. Tinubu is the one that respected the agreement. Akodo was 001 in Lagos State. When late Buhari said that he should leave Akodo, did he leave him, They go to say that somebody started. CCPD was locked in the boot in Anambra State because of fidelity. So there's no way we can rule out
So exactly what's the point that you want us to take from your contributions now, JB Dennis?
My point is that if Kubana has played the constitution, they should not be mentioning Wike. Wike is not the constitution of Nigeria.
Okay.
That's just my point.
All right, thank you, JB Dennis. We'll have more on the line to contribute to the discussion. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. It's live on Politics Today on independent television and radio. Good morning, caller. What's your name?
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yes, the voice of ordinary people.
Go ahead.
Yes, the problem with Wike now is that Wike is going out of control now. It's going out of control. Well, yes, because when he started with PDP, he pretended to be a member of PDP. He aimed to destroy and to spoil PDP. He has succeeded in doing that. Now, it's going out of control to destroy PC also. So, even the presidency should be very careful about such person. Because the Bible says, whatever a man sows, that must be reaped. So, the evil that he do in PDP is bringing it here now. It's bringing it. So, that's what is playing out now. So, even the state of emergency that the president even declared that time, he's supposed to have declared it against Wike. He allowed Wike to go scot-free. Because he's the one causing the problem. You allow him to go scot-free. You only punish one person. So, that's why the problem will still remain. Until Wike is punished, and removed from that post, the problem will continue. So that's what I want to say, sir.
All right, thank you, voice of the ordinary people, for your contribution. The studio line is still open, 08077770300 on Politics Today. Good morning, caller. Tell us your name and where are you calling us from? Good morning.
My name is Mr. Moses Oboro. I'm calling for Sapele Road.
All right, Oboro, please go ahead.
Okay. You see this Nigeria, we do play politics too much. When Tinubu declared state of emergency in Rivers State to settle the peace between Wike and Fubarak, people were blaming Tinubu that why he removed Fubarak, But you know that Tinubu did that to save the political structure of Fubarak. I don't understand. It's not because of Tinubu. If Fubarak was in peace for no time ago, and now people are not calling Tinubu should intervene. Tinubu should not intervene. Let the will of people be done in Rivers and let us sue.
Okay, let the will of the people be done in Rivers State. That's your parting words there. And if the impeachment goes ahead as planned, will that truly be the will of the people or the will of Wike and his allies, particularly in the State House of Assembly? That's a major talking point. As we bring the show to a close, let's get our parting words from our panelists. Let me begin with Professor Anthony Jewelry.
Well, I think if the presidency want peace in Rivers State, they should give respect to whom is due, which is Governor Fubara. And the party constitution, APC party constitution, is very clear about that any governor, sitting governor, is the leader of that party in the state. And since Wike constituting political impediments, to that constitution, then it should be shown the way out, because that's the only way there will be peace. Because what is holding, the only life wire that is holding Wike now is his position as city minister. That's the only life wire. Once that one is removed from him, it's finished politically.
Okay. Well, it's on record that some of the warlords in Rivers State are still loyal to Wike.
Some, you just said some.
Some beneficiaries.
Yes. So let me get your parting words, Pastor Mego.
Well, my parting word will be, let Wike now retrace his step. Because he's walking towards the den of lions. And he cannot be saved. He should just retrace himself honorably now and look at some elders there to settle him and Fubara. And allow him go ahead. For goodness sake, Wike is a young man. He has all the time in the world to go rebuild and then come back. It's disturbing everybody in this country.
Okay. Hello, caller. Good morning. What's your name? Please tell us the name and where you're calling from. Just turn down the audio level on your TV or radio. Good morning.
Mr. Iwolo, I'm speaking from Ubuyoko.
Ubuyoko, please go ahead.
Yes. My contribution to this discussion is as simple as ever. I'm sure the president can be able to solve the problem.
How?
Okay. If I were in the position of the president governor, what I do, I just withdraw, throw the towel.
Who should throw in the towel?
The governor should throw in the towel.
Yeah, just leave, Mr. and leave it.
Huh?
Then the issue of Wike, that is settled itself
So if the governor throws in the towel, what happens to the state?
Exactly.
You are invariably saying that Wike should take charge of the state, Wike and his allies should take charge of the state. Is that not an aberration in democracy?
It's not coming back to the governor of that place anyway. If he throws in the towel, the boss is concerned to determine what next position is after throwing the towel.
No,
So are you saying that Fubara is the crisis, is the cause of the crisis in the state?
It's not that nobody is saying Wike is saying that he's the one causing it. He's not the one at all.
Okay, well, that's the most we can take on the program today. Our time is up. Professor Anthony J, we're good to have you back to Unibe and back to Benin City. Thank you so much for your time with us.
Thank you.
And Bryce Amego, always a delight to have you here.
Thank you.
That's our package today on the program Politics Today on Independent Television and Radio. Well, the onus is on Mr. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, His Excellency, to take decisive action and bring the River State crisis to an end before 2027 election. Otherwise, the people of River State will continue to suffer. Mr. Wike also needs to know that whatever has a beginning has an end. Yes. And how you end matters a lot. Yes. If you want to continue to gain relevance, listen to the voice of reasoning and find out you can participate actively and bring this issue to a halt. Perhaps his biggest challenge are his loyalists. If he gives in, now what becomes of his loyalists? Well, there's always a way around it, because I believe there's so much money, enough to go around in River State. But the plight of the people must be considered first. Exactly. And that's the position of Mr. President. Exactly. That's our take and our parting words on the show today. Thank you for staying with us. Have a great weekend.